Yeah, you got that man on the Silver Mountain right here, taking good care of you, baby, trying to keep it clear, trying to help you see it, dear. Oh, yeah, it was the way you gotta be, man, 'cause that's the way we live in our reality. In the heart of love, that one little speck of light at the center of all, from which everything begins. You know, when you consider it, you know, when you think that is truth, that's our reality, man, then you see the expansive way of love and how it could never be stopped or dammed up or anything like that, that it is a steady and consistent flow that goes throughout all of the history and generations we're living in, all of it, and all of creation around us too. It's that same consistent little speck of light in a gazillion, gazillion, gazillion different forms, you know, expressed beautifully. And as we realize this moment outside of time, you know, where it really, we're in complete union with all of it, then we can't be drug in or drug down by any of it. We stay where we are, constantly in love with life and celebrating life into being. Simply put, because we see the innocence in it. That singular speck of light that creates it all. And we start to understand the magic and the mystery in it by seeing our own history, by reliving those sweet moments that have brought us to where we are now, and see then that we do not only deserve this reward, we created it for ourselves a long, long time ago as the children of the universe. We agreed to give this a go. This polarity, don't you know, this harsh good and evil kind of push-pull thing, you know, action-reaction, Jackson. Ooh, and laws of physics to go with it, absolute rules that could not be bent or changed or sliced into or nothing, man. Right. Didn't quite work out that way, did it, man? We found ourselves, as we remember now, we'll see, we've been living in a fluid and a flexible reality. And much of what's real has been hidden from us. Much. And notice how the powers that used to be are still trying to pollute the sky and, you know, not let you see what's really going on there. But we all know the earth is moving. We can see it just in the position of the sun, where it rises and where it sets. I'm amazed the seasons are still going on kind of normal-like, and they are. Definitely been springtime in the Rockies around here, I tell you, man. So the days are getting longer just like they always would, yet the position of the sun is not where it should be. It's way north of where it normally is this time of year. You see it there where you are if you're not too clouded in. It's amazing, man, what's going on here. But see, there's nothing to fear. Just pay attention to what you see, dear. Don't let them fool you by, obscuring your mind with all of their propaganda, or by obscuring the sky with all of their magic dust, man. They may think that they're doing something awful to humanity, and they may well intend to in a certain way. They being us as those forms of representation of us working in the background there. But again, I remind you, there are divine angels hidden away in all the stratum of the reality here, the society within it, and the secret societies too. There's been a tremendous manipulation of the flow. You don't know how bad it could have gotten if we'd have let it go. We never did. We made sure the fumblers and bumblers, kept fumbling and bumbling and didn't get it quite right, till the whole of humanity was ready to take flight. Now these have been your wise caretakers that have always constantly watched over you from what you would see as the ethereal realm. But their power is felt here always. And through the powers of your heart, they've been able to create a reality where they could fool a lot of people and serve in some pretty dark roles. It will amaze you when you see some of the bright angels are rising up out of some of these dark places and dark faces, some of the ugliest people we ever created. You know, we're not exactly sold out in the way it seemed, you know. We've had a lot of help here, people, and it's our heart that's empowered it, because that's where the ultimate power is. The very power of creation is in your heart. And that's why we can dissolve away the 3D. Just that handily, man. We remember our place in it, yeah, but we don't see it stretched out anymore, see? That's why lives have simultaneous energies in it, because they're kind of occurring all at the same time. There is no time. There's just an experience we stretch into, a dreaming world that seems very, very real. Yeah. So now we're tuning in way out there in the old Red Rock Desert, up there in the high mountains of Romania. We're tuning in to the purity of clarity, the remembrance held in the crystalline energy of the earth, of our true moment of birth, when we first came forward as human children in this life and found ourselves so greatly corrupted and so densified and began to adjust in a whole different way of being. We can remember even to those moments, those first few beings stepping forward from the mother love and becoming these densified forms. It was, yeah, in a way it was a cosmic interference by another group of beings entirely. And we've been subject to their rule, regulation, and somewhat control ever since then, too. We've really had to deal with a lot here. But there's a purity in this history. And look how many times, babies, you start to remember that we came close and we came clear. But there just wasn't enough to hold it yet, dear, so we let it go down. Could only be around for a while, but in the expansive times, we really expanded. And there is a cosmic memory inside of every human being living now of our family that surrounds us and the universe around us as we see it from here. But as we cave into it, dear, the heart's way, the truth, the center point, then we see it all as an expansion from here. And there is no time, distance, or space. We're still unified with that family. We never separated. The 3D took us away in a way. We had to live that way for a while so we could suffer loss and know what a gain is. Know what empowerment is by losing it entirely. Giving ourselves up to an abject, dumb-hearted slavery in which we could still find our humanity and keep a glimmer of love alive through the darkest of times, in the darkest of places. To realize how tough it is for angels to hold that dark space. It's pretty difficult, man. You know, it takes some real getting used to. But that's what we've done there. So in every instance, there is a divine angel presence within the person you see before you. Whether it's a human clone, a human being, or something else that's called human too. Because there's lots of beings here, and there's lots of ways of being as a human. We've just exemplified a few forms of it here. Look at our cosmic difference too, as well as our togetherness, our sameness, you know. See how we allowed ourselves to be divided into tribes and nations and continents that weren't united the way they once were. See, there was a time on this earth when there was a singular landmass, and it stretched around the globe. It was all united, and the ocean surrounded that, and there were mighty rivers flowing through, and God, what a gorgeous place to be. In complete unity with itself, because life was unified with itself in those times. And see, we've rearranged our Mother Earth to accommodate our ages of separation, to allow ourselves to almost annihilate the heart in order for the comeback to be as magnificent as it could possibly be in this moment in time, in reality. See, there's also a cosmic memory in the future. Down a particular timeline we went, and did our choices ever get bent, you see? And we got made into a whole different form of human being. Only a few woke up and found themselves coming back from the distant past to that future time, so that we could come back in time when we finally had the ability to correct our errors in time, or seemingly inconsistencies, let's say, and smooth it out so we could have this day, this magnificent Monday, launching forward with our arousal into our true reward, because we see that we deserve it, dear, that we've come clear with the ancient past at last, that there is a unity of memory occurring in the members of this divine community family we call the Vibe Tribe, spread around the earth and listening in here to the Grandpaw Coyote rap away and rock away on this Coyote Medicine Show only on the Hazy Radio Network. Rockin' is never you ever found, babies. Aren't you glad you're hanging around this morning? I sure am. You just make it clear, dear. You make it right. Here's to all of us taking flight. Yeah. And there was a time, you know, of Atlantis. There was a time of Lemuria. And there is a memory of these things, and they seem to be simultaneous. They don't seem to be divided like they existed in the same moment. And in a way they did, because Lemuria was a step up from a step down. Atlantis was the housing in the 3D of the Lemurian energy, which again could only be a cosmic reflection of what truth was. So Lemuria was the city that seemed to rise up into the skies and disappear for a long time. And I use the term city loosely, but it's huge, it's vast. It's like 3,000 miles wide and 2,000 miles tall, man. You know, I mean, it was no midget country. And over the top of it all stood the mothership we had arrived to Mother Earth in. Because we had chosen to live other places and finally came back to our birthplace because we made such a mess of it out there. Which is what led then in that fourth, fifth dimension to the 3D of Atlantean reality, which again was cosmically close, but just a shadow, a glimmer of the true Lemurian energy. So in our remembrance of now, in our bringing back together of the and how of our ancient past and our future at last joined here in this singular moment of time, we see that divine hand, that divine heart in motion through it all. There again, the point of innocence in all roles played here. There again, this will not be then an age when heads will roll and there'll be blood on the streets and fighting everywhere. For that aspect's already been fulfilled a gazillion times over. And we've had enough. We've come to that point where we really are. Every human being's made this choice collectively and personally to begin an age of peacefulness. To let go of the divine illusion we've held over ourselves and within ourselves, so we can finally see our true reality and live in that and be that. And the recovery of this takes a recovery of memory, cosmic memory, a reaffirmation inside of each person listening in, and beyond that too, of course. We're united with all hearts in moments like these. Of course, we're never in separation. Unity is our reality. But the personal experience is precious and divine. And the Divine Mother of Love appreciates that's all in a way only a Mother of Love can. That's what's represented in that singular little point of light we all arise from. Is that grandmother who gave birth painfully to a new existence, a full presence in a feeling creation, and dissolve her and himself into that creation, consciously present in all of it then. You see, that's the unity we're beginning to see here. In that coyote sort of way, because it's always a little varied in each person that come out to play, baby, and we're just having a grand time with it. I'm glad you are too, baby. Just keep it rocking in it. Let it expand. We got a whole lot more to go here on the Coyote Medicine Show. Where else but the ever-loving, sweethearted Hazy Radio Network. We love you so. I reckon we all been waiting a little too long, ain't we, to rise up in that sunshine of love, wouldn't you say? It's the love bunny way, and that's why it's evaded you see? Because, you know, if you're not willing to be a love bunny, you can't set yourself free, because they go hand in hand. Heart to heart, more or less, yeah. From one heart to another, 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 and so on. You see, you have to allow inside yourself, make an allowance for a certain amount of intimacy with others that you ain't necessarily going to practice outside of your presence. I mean, it's a sacred acknowledgement of familiar energies, of a close approach to the heart, of a divine reflection that really is united with you in every way. Though in this lifetime, not so much so, not in the physicality. But see, we live in a larger reality, you see. And when we live at that level in that way, acceptance, don't you see, of the divine level at which this true love is expressed and experienced, then it can harborate and habitate as it will. You see, you're okay with that 3D-wise, because 3D just kind of dissolves away. You know, the caricature in which we play is only a figurement of ourself, a metaphor, as I often call it, a metaphor. Larry Curly and Moe, that's what they would say, it's a metaphor. I'm sorry I never got over this Three Stooges, man. I know they were violent, but it was, and silly. But that's what made it fun, you know what I mean? Especially for a little kid just growing up, and you needed some really good influences in life. I held the Three Stooges in very high regard, you know, right up there with Laurel and Hardy and the Abbott and Costello and everybody else. Notice we play Abbott and Costello in here every now and then, that loafing one, man. I love that thing so much. Every now and then, maybe Who's On First, that one drives me bananas. That's a little too much. But the Three Stooges, man, they were prime comedy in their day, man, you know, even though they were obnoxious in every way. And they got taken advantage of by the Hollywood stalwarts who just ripped them every which way but loose. They died broke and busted, but happy. They'd been out with just about every actress and actor in that Hollywood reality. They knew everybody. They were connected and loved by everyone. Sometimes in some real crazy ways, man. It's Hollywood, man. City of lost angels trying to be found. And in an exemplary way, and that's why they make movies down there, or at least that's the heartland of them, is because, you know, lost angels trying to get found. Movies is all about working it out one way or another. Well, sometimes they're very heavily influenced by you-know-who, one of those three-letter agencies out there, but just the same, you can only pay for so much, and you're only going to get so much. Because even in your crap movies, the truth's going to shine out somewhere, because it always does, man. You can't help it. It slips in on you just like it did in the rock and roll back in the day, and helped liberate a whole generation of humanity, which then led to all the generations being liberated in these days, these times of now. Flowers ripen and blossom in their own natural sense of timing. You know, there's winter, spring, summer, and fall, y'all. And there's time to blossom and grow. It's springtime in the Rockies, don't you know, and down in Australia too, and over in New Zealand, and up there in merry old England, over there in Germany, yeah, Germany I should say. Oh, what about Russia, man? Shit, you guys rocking down now, ain't you, man? Gosh darn, I'll tell you, this old Putin dude's kind of like holding some energy over there for a change. I still remember Nikita and all that craziness from way back in the day, Khrushchev, you know, when sabers were rattled and bombed, you know, heavy-duty bombs were at play. It was dangerous territory in the propaganda sort of way. But babies, we're living in a whole new way, in a whole new day, and we're all united in this heart. Not just in this worldwide tiny little radio show that helps you get in the glow of the rhythm and harmony of the rock and roll heart and soul of your own truth, for heck's sakes. But the influence is far more wider and far more expansive. The awakening is on. on this magnificent Monday. It is the beginning of dawn. A gift from all the generations of love, starting inside of the magic carpet ride inside of your little hide, babies. Buffalo girls and cowboys chasing them, man, gee whiz. I tell you, what's wrong with this picture? Well, let's rightfully make it habitate into a more pleasant reality, shall we? We're taking the rocking down parts of it with us, and we just expand and grow and experience it in a higher way, I'd say, you know. Catching on, John? Liberation Jane? Ooh, baby, Jane liberated us, didn't she? How about that, Linda Ronstadt? She sure don't sound like no desperado to me. But we all must be desperados one way or another, eh? We never come down from the fences. We just stay up there and play. Excuse me, I'm smoking a bit much today, and so I'm heavily loaded with, you know, the revolutionary side of tobacco, which causes me to cough a little bit. Yeah, you never thought about that, did you? How can tobacco be a revolution? Hey, it's a magic healing herb. And it's a prayer chant. A rhythmic, harmonic, transformative prayer chant. Just like a lot of things in this here reality, not everything is what it seems to be, and some things are 180 degrees from what you see. And when you start to see the reality, you're starting to see a right side up world. You're liberated of the effects of the upside down world. Take some willingness, you know, and an amazing trust. I can't even describe as trust, an amazing ability to go with a flow that's far more expansive than any we've ever known before. And again, it gets to very personal levels, very intimate ways inside, which is frightening to some folks. In fact, most folks have had great guardians against all that because they know that that's softiness and they can be taken advantage of, and it's going to break their heart every freaking time. Well, not this time, baby. This is the awareness of the steady heart that's constantly and consistently loving, no matter how fleeting our little affairs here might be, or how long-lasting, same way. It's long-lasting. It just either bores you to death or it reiterates the reality of loving truth, that harmonic presences do exist. And they can more than coexist. We co-create. We are creation. Of course. And that's liberation when you feel it. When it's just flowing with you. Flowing through you, right through you into a constant expansiveness into the reality around us. Like the blossoming flower, man. We're the petals and we're the bud and we're the stem and the leaves and the root. The root, the root, the root. See, we can root for ourselves now, too, baby. There's another way to use root. Man, this English language is strange. A root in the ground or a root from a cheerleader, don't you know? By the way, whatever happened to my cosmic cheerleaders? They must be on strike or something. I must have, you know, pissed them off somehow. Oh, well, you stay loving, man. They'll come back. You know, cheerleaders are like that. They can be a little bit vainglorious because they're such great rock stars, you know. So that makes them a little picky-uni, just like a Hollywood star we're talking about here, you know, starlet. But hey, they're cheerleaders, and in the end, they're loyal to the team, and they always come back and say, wow, let's party on. And that's just the way life is, man, you know, because this time now, all the cheerleaders are coming back to high school, man, you know. And we're going to radiate the broadcast of this foosball game all across the universe because we're already doing it anyway. Yeah, I said foosball with it, but it's a great big giant thing on a great big board that's as big as what you'd know of as a football field now. We got to push them little air discs back and forth like crazy till one side or the other has a clear-cut dominance, and there is no question about who's the victor here. Wouldn't that be our way? Well, I think that'd make a good symbolic World War III, okay? And then we can all get over it and go have a beer and get on with it, you know? I mean, you know, have some cocktails together, go party in the sunshine on the beach somewhere, all of us together, man, you know, because it's been one hell of a journey through this script, man. Let me tell you, it was roughly written. In the first place, all we saw was a rough draft when we agreed to it. We didn't know how long this gig was going to last or what the effect of time would be. It was just going by too fast. And sometimes so slow, just, oh, grunt and groan, heaviness, man, unworthiness, oh, the obliteration of the human soul at the expense of survival, don't you know? We sure know how to take a crap on our reality, don't we, babies? Just remember, out of that comes fertile fields, man, and flowers that blossom like crazy. Russia's coming back in its own right way. I mean, this guy's amazing, you know, the premier over there, Putin, yeah. He's a cutie pie, but I think he's been influenced by, you know, certain elements. It's funny how the whole tables have turned in that direction. It's weird. And now we're like the enemy and they're like the good guy. I mean, it's like Jizo. I mean, what happened? Huh? And now there ain't no war. Yeah, right, we've done away with it, man. We've evened the score, right? Some people say cynically, tell me about it, man. World War III's coming and there's nothing you can do, you know. It's with the aliens, you know. Yeah, what the hell if it unites us, huh? No, we don't go that way. That's silliness, don't you know? You know, we'd rather come into it carefree and happy, wouldn't we? I thought so. See, everybody put down the guns and the sabers and the swords and shields and all the good shit that goes with it, the armor and the armory and, you know, all the weaponry and the bombs and, you know, the factories that make them and all that shit. Everybody just breathe a long sigh of relief and say, oh, screw that. Enough of that noise, you know, we're going to live differently now because we feel it cosmically, you know. I mean, we're connected, man. Hooked up to the center taproot of reality, man, right through our very own heart, down through our root chakra, through our tiny little toes, too, wouldn't you say? Oh, yeah, baby. Walk with naked feet in the forest today, and you'll be blessed beyond belief. I know it, because I see you've flown into it already. Well, if it's too cold, don't do that. But if you know how to maintain the heatful presence, then you can. Some people can do that, just like some people can walk on fire, hot little coals and stuff. I mean, you know, we all have our show-offy tendencies. Actually, such magic exists. You know, I mean, its usage is warped sometimes, yes, but such magic exists to demonstrate to us that we really are, you know, another form of existence, that magic is our reality, and that, you know, the powerless feeling is like the unreality. It's the exact opposite of the truth, you know. So we just had to go with the flow that takes us beyond it, don't you know? So when we hook up with our history, then we know why we're in the flow of right now. And that's true liberation. You see, there's no feeling of burden in that. Everything, all moments, are a blessing to us now. And they always have been. We just couldn't quite see it that way for a while. And then we learned our lesson, licked our wounds, and now we're coming back to life, baby. Because death brought us back to life. The old world is dying and sputtering in its dying too. Just let it go. Stay in the flow of the inside, don't you know? Feel the magic of the presence coming forward in you. And babies, wherever you look, it just glows, and you know which way. There's no direction, there's no decision, there's no great choice on you anymore. You're already in the flow, living in the natural way of creation. So just like a river flows in its channel, there you go, staying in that flow. Yeah, and that's when life is the most magic, don't you know? Then again, it's only just the beginning. Oh my. See, Grandpa knows the way I share it with you every day, Monday through Friday here on the Coyote Medicine Show, exclusively on the Hazy Radio Network. It's magic, don't you know? Pure and simple. Given in kind of a hippie-ki-yo sort of way, a hippie cowboy that didn't know any better, man, than to live the ideal dream as much as we can, so we could bring it forward and really realize the nature of our promised land, which is our landing, our birth, our place of being in this reality where we fit quite naturally. Blossoming is what it is meant to be, and that's what we're doing, don't you see? Each and every day, Monday through Friday, and launching it today on this magnificent Monday in that Coyote way, only and exclusively on the Hazy Radio Network. The center of your universal heart right now, I bet you. I bet you believe it is. Okay, kids, let's get out of this priz and journey on with life. Hey, you got 2 more hours Coyote Medicine coming following this show. Hang on, don't you know? Lots more to go.